I adjusted my navy blazer, smoothing out non-existent wrinkles as I watched my family pose for their annual country club photo. The photographer adjusted his lighting while my mother fussed over everyone's positioning. James, stand behind your father. Emma, fix your hair. Mom's voice carried that familiar commanding tone she'd perfected over years of social climbing. Perfect, now everyone smile. I stepped forward, ready to join them, but Mom's manicured hand shot out, stopping me. Sarah, darling, maybe sit this one out. Her smile was tight, practiced. Your outfit is a bit casual for the club's standards. I looked down at my clothes, a perfectly tailored blazer and designer slacks that cost more than most people's monthly rent. But of course it wasn't about the clothes. It never was. We need to maintain a certain image, she continued, lowering her voice. The Mercers and Vanderhoffs will see these photos. You understand, don't you? Behind her, my younger sister Emma smirked, adjusting her tennis bracelet, a gift from Mom for landing a junior associate position at Dad's law firm. My brother James simply looked away, uncomfortable but unwilling to speak up. Of course, Mother. I stepped back, watching as they arranged themselves into the perfect picture of success. The prestigious lawyer father, the social butterfly mother, the rising star son, and the beautiful daughter following in her father's footsteps. I wasn't part of that image. I never had been. Growing up, I was always the odd one out. While Emma and James attended private schools and elite summer camps, I chose public school and spent my summers working. When they joined Dad's firm straight out of law school, I struck out on my own, much to my parents' horror. A startup. Mom had practically choked when I told them my plans. Sarah, be reasonable. Your father has built a legacy at Anderson and Associates. You have a guaranteed position waiting for you. But I had different dreams. While they saw success as maintaining their position in society's upper echelons, I saw it as building something of my own. The photographer finished and my family dispersed. Emma immediately pulled out her phone, probably posting about another perfect day at the club. James headed toward the golf course, where he networked with potential clients. Sarah. Dad approached, his expression stern. Your mother and I have been talking. It's time you took your future seriously. The position at the firm is still open. I suppressed a smile. If only they knew. Actually, Dad, I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm hosting a business dinner next week. I'd love for you all to come. He frowned. A business dinner? For that little tech company of yours? Something like that. I handed him an elegant invitation. Thursday at 7. The New Windsor Club downtown. His eyebrows shot up. The Windsor? That's impossible. They're not even open yet. The waiting list for membership is years long. I have connections. I turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Dad? Dress formally. They're very particular about their image. The week passed quickly, filled with final preparations and meetings. Thursday evening arrived, and I stood in front of the Windsor Club's imposing facade, watching as valets parked exotic cars and doormen greeted Silicon Valley's elite. Right on time, I saw my family's Mercedes pull up. They stepped out, dressed to impress. Dad in his finest suit, Mom dripping in diamonds, Emma and James looking like they'd stepped out of a magazine. Their expressions when they saw me standing at the entrance were priceless. Gone was my casual blazer, replaced by a custom-made evening gown. But it wasn't my outfit that made their jaws drop. It was the giant letters above the entrance. Windsor Club, founded by Sarah Anderson. Welcome to my club, I said, enjoying their shocked faces. Shall we discuss that position at the firm over dinner? The story of how I got here isn't simple. It started 5 years ago when I left my family's carefully planned path to forge my own. The story of how I got here began 5 years ago. Fresh out of college, instead of joining Anderson and Associates like my siblings, I took my trust fund, a mere fraction of what Emma and James received, and invested everything into a tech startup. You're throwing your life away, Mom had said, watching me pack up my childhood bedroom. This silly rebellion needs to stop. But it wasn't rebellion. I had seen a gap in the market, exclusive clubs and venues struggling with membership management, event planning and modernization. My company, Elite Connect, started as a simple software solution. Within 2 years, we were handling digital operations for some of the most prestigious clubs across the country. Every success was met with dismissal from my family. When we signed our first major client, Emma called it beginner's luck. When we expanded to 50 clubs, James suggested I sell while you're ahead. When we hit our first million in revenue, Dad said it was small change compared to his corporate cases. They never knew I was reinvesting everything, building something bigger. Elite Connect wasn't just software anymore. We were buying struggling clubs, modernizing them, and turning them into exclusive destinations for the new tech elite. The Windsor Club was my masterpiece. When the oldest country club in Silicon Valley faced bankruptcy, I bought it quietly through a holding company. No one, not even my family, knew I was behind the mysterious renovation that had the whole city talking. Now, watching them follow me through the club's marble lobby, their expressions shifted between awe and confusion. Mom's eyes darted around, noting the original artworks and crystal chandeliers. Dad kept adjusting his tie, a nervous habit from his early courtroom days. "Miss Anderson," the maitre d' bowed slightly. "Your private dining room is ready." "Thank you, Michael." I led my family past whispered conversations and subtle nods of recognition from various tech CEOs and venture capitalists. "Sarah," Mom hissed, grabbing my arm. "How did you get a reservation here? The waiting list is impossible even for us." I smiled, gently removing her hand. "It's amazing what you can accomplish when you own the place." We entered the private dining room, where floor-to-ceiling windows offered a spectacular view of the city lights. A bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild 1982, Dad's favorite wine, was already breathing on the table. "Please sit." I took my place at the head of the table, a position Dad had always occupied at family dinners. "We have a lot to discuss." Emma found her voice first. "This is impossible. You couldn't afford this place. Not with your little software company." I reached into my clutch and pulled out a magazine, Forbes' latest issue. I slid it across the table to her. There on the cover was my photo with the headline, "Tech's New Elite: How Sarah Anderson's Elite Connect is Revolutionizing Luxury Venues." "That little software company is now valued at $2.8 billion, I said calmly. "The Windsor Club is just one of 30 properties we own worldwide." Dad picked up the magazine, his hands trembling slightly. "But how? While you were all laughing at my hobby, I was building an empire. Those membership management systems you mocked? They're now the industry standard. That small client list? It includes every major luxury venue in the country." I poured myself a glass of wine, enjoying the weight of the moment. "You know what's funny? All those years you pushed me to join the family business. But I didn't want to be part of someone else's legacy. I wanted to build my own." Mom's face had gone pale. "Why didn't you tell us? Would you have listened?" I asked. "When have you ever listened to me? Even today, you pushed me out of a family photo because I didn't fit your image of success." The silence that followed was deafening. James stared at his plate, Emma clutched her phone like a lifeline, and Dad looked older suddenly, as if the weight of their mistakes had aged him years and minutes. A knock at the door interrupted the tension. "Miss Anderson, the board members have arrived for the quarterly meeting." "Thank you, I'll be right there." I stood, smoothing my dress. "Please enjoy dinner. Everything's been arranged." "Oh, and Mom?" I paused at the door. "About maintaining the right image? Don't worry. I made sure the photographer got your good side when you were turned away from your daughter at the club entrance. Those photos should pair nicely with tomorrow's press announcement about the Windsor's new ownership." I left them there, sitting in the house that my hobby built, surrounded by the success they'd never believed I could achieve. The night was still young and I had an empire to run. The next morning my phone exploded with notifications. The press release about the Windsor Club's ownership had gone viral, especially among Silicon Valley's elite circles. My PR team had done their job well, tastefully including that candid photo from yesterday, my mother's dismissive gesture caught perfectly as she pushed me away from the family photo. The headline read, "Tech billionaire Sarah Anderson reveals ownership of prestigious Windsor Club. A story of innovation meets tradition." I sipped my coffee in my penthouse office, overlooking the city. The wall of windows offered a perfect view of the morning fog rolling over San Francisco's skyline. My assistant, Victoria, entered with the morning briefings. "Your family has been trying to reach you," she said, placing a stack of reports on my desk. "Your mother called 17 times, your father's office 12, and your sister. Well, she's been quite active on social media." I pulled up Emma's Instagram. Sure enough, she'd done a complete pivot. Her latest post showed the Forbes magazine cover, my cover, with a gushing caption. So proud of my amazing sister. Always knew she would do great things. Hashtag family first, hashtag girl boss, hashtag proud sister. I almost laughed. Just yesterday she'd been smirking at my exclusion from the family photo. Your brother sent an email, Victoria continued. He's requesting a meeting to discuss potential synergies between Anderson and Associates and Elite Connect. Of course he was. James had always been quick to spot opportunities. Decline politely, I said. Remind him that Elite Connect already has excellent legal representation. My phone buzzed again, Mom calling. This time I answered. Sarah, darling. Her voice dripped with honey now. We simply must talk about yesterday. Your father and I are hosting a dinner party this weekend. The Vanderhoffs, the Mercers, everyone will be there. You'll come, won't you? We need to present a united front. A united front? Kept my voice level. Like the one you presented yesterday at the club? Oh, sweetheart, you know I didn't mean anything by that. I was just caught up in the moment. If I'd known Dash. If you'd known I was rich? I cut her off. That's exactly the problem, Mom. Nothing's changed except now you know I have money. I'm still the same person you pushed aside yesterday. That's not fair, Sarah. We've always supported you, Dash. Really? Let's talk about support. I opened my desk drawer, pulling out a file I'd kept for just this moment. When I started Elite Connect, Dad told his clients not to invest in my risky venture. When I won my first industry award, Emma told everyone it was a participation trophy. When I bought my first struggling club and turned it around, James spread rumors that I was burning through my trust fund. Silence on the other end. But here's what really hurts, Mom. Last Christmas, when I tried to tell you about the Windsor Club acquisition, you cut me off to brag about Emma making junior partner. You didn't even let me finish speaking. I didn't realize. No, you didn't. Because you never listened. None of you did. A knock at my office door interrupted us. Victoria poked her head in. Your 9 a.m. is here. The Singapore investors. I nodded. Mom, I have to go. I have a business to run. Wait. What about the dinner party? I'm afraid I'm busy this weekend. I'm flying to Singapore to finalize our newest acquisition. Send my regards to the Vanderhoffs. I hung up, taking a moment to compose myself before meeting the investors. But my phone buzzed again, a text from Dad. Can we meet? Just us. Please. I stared at the message, remembering all the times I'd sought his approval, his understanding. All the times I'd been dismissed or redirected toward his vision of success. But something in the please made me pause. My father had never begged for anything in his life. Victoria, I called. Find an opening in my schedule. 1 hour, no more. The next day I sat in my office watching my father fidget in one of the visitor chairs. Gone was his usual commanding presence. Kicked, sold, tired. The Windsor Club, he finally said. That's why you asked about my favorite wine last Christmas. I nodded. I wanted to maintain certain traditions. The wine cellar, the old photographs in the library, even the original membership ledger from 1925. Some things shouldn't be lost just because they're old. But you changed so much too. The tech integration, the new member demographics. Balance, Dad. Respecting history while embracing the future. Isn't that what you taught me? He winced. I taught you a lot of things. Most of them wrong, it seems. The admission hung in the air between us. You know, he continued, I always wondered why you chose public school over Westbrook Academy. Now I understand. You wanted to build something on your own terms, not just inherit what was handed to you. I wanted to prove I could do it myself, I said softly, without the Anderson name opening doors. Dad nodded slowly. And you did. God, Sarah, you really did. He pulled out a folded newspaper, yesterday's Wall Street Journal. My company's latest valuation was front-page news. You've built something extraordinary. Something far beyond anything I could have offered you at the firm. Dad dash. No, let me finish. He leaned forward. I was wrong. We were all wrong. We were so focused on our version of success that we couldn't see yours. Even worse, we tried to diminish it because it didn't fit our narrow view. Tears pricked at my eyes, but I blinked them back. You hurt me, I said simply. All of you. I know. He reached for his briefcase, pulling out a thick envelope. "That's why I brought this." Inside was a formal letter announcing his retirement from Anderson and Associates, effective immediately. "I'm stepping down," he said, "letting James take over. But the firm, it's your life's work." It was. "But maybe it's time for new blood, new ideas." He smiled sadly. "You taught me that even if I was too stubborn to learn until now." He stood to leave, then paused at the door. "That position at the firm, consider it permanently withdrawn. You've far outgrown us, Sarah. And I couldn't be prouder." As the door closed behind him, I let the tears fall freely. Years of seeking validation, of proving myself, of building something extraordinary, all of it crystallized in that moment of genuine pride in my father's eyes. My phone buzzed, Victoria reminding me about the Singapore deal. I wiped my eyes, straightened my jacket, and stood. There would be time for family healing later. Right now I had an empire to expand. After all, success is the best revenge, but true victory is when those who dismissed you finally understand exactly what they dismissed. A week after my father's visit, I received an urgent message from Victoria. "Your sister is at the Windsor Club, trying to host a client meeting in your private dining room." I checked the security feed on my tablet. Sure enough, there was Emma, wearing her most expensive suit, attempting to impress what looked like potential law firm clients. "Don't you know who I am?" Her voice carried through the feed. "I'm Sarah Anderson's sister. This is practically my club too." I pressed the intercom. "Michael, please escort my sister and her guests to the main dining room. Drinks on the house."